What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Drew Deeks channel. Today, I'll be talking about something I wanted to talk about for a little while, and that was kind of the end of the Marc Bergevin era. But specifically, I want to have some fun today. I've taken a while to put this list together. I want to talk to you about Marc Bergevin's top 10 pieces, if you will, players that he left behind for the Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton era, whether he did these in intention of being here longer or not. These are the top 10 pieces that Bergie was able to bring in either through the draft, through trade, or through free agency. So Marc Bergevin, just wanted to pay a quick little homage to Bergie just for a second. I was a Marc Bergevin supporter for quite a while. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did appreciate him while he was here, Mr. Biceps Bergie himself. Look at the hair. Awkward moment here just before trading Max Pacioretty. But a couple of moments I really appreciated from Berge. And I just want to show you real quick from the draft, actually, just that we actually got to see finally Marc Bergevin's sense of humor a little bit. So really quick couple clips here. Just want to show this to you.
Okay, bye.
Onward? That's all he has to see. He's almost. All he does.
That's a really great full clip from the Montreal Canadiens YouTube channel. You can check that out. It's 11 minutes of the 2019 draft with Marc Bergevin, Trevor Timmins, and the Brass before they select Cole Caufield. And then it goes into the second day of the draft. It's really good stuff. But this little one also with Chris Pronger popping on by.
Wrong, where's my coffee?
Where's my coffee, Pronger? Anyway, good stuff. Let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the top 10 pieces that Marc Bergevin left behind for the Jeff Gorton, I'll start with, and then the Kent Hughes GM sort of VP of Hockey Operations combo here. So let's start with number 10, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Mr. Jake Allen. Jake Allen, ladies and gentlemen. Guy who's come in and really been a huge support, as we know, for Carey Price in his absence throughout the entire season, really. And last year, before the 2021 playoff run, where we saw Jake shine, and frankly, I thought Allen looked like a starter a lot of times last year, even this year. An underrated signing that Bergevin, actually, was a trade that Marc Bergevin made with St. Louis. One that I think that goes undermined a little bit because, and I have Allen at number 10 because I think he's an asset that we still don't fully know how we're going to use him, if he's going to play next season or, if he's going to be part of the roster, if he's going to be part of that tandem with Carey Price still. We don't know. All right, number 9, ladies and gentlemen. Number 9, Joshua Roy. Joshua Roy coming in at number 9. On the pieces that Marc Bergevin left behind, we know that Joshua Roy came in through the draft and just signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Montreal Canadiens. I put him as a scoring prospect. I really liked the highlights that I watched of him. And yes, he's still only 18 years old, as I mentioned, but I think the upside could be a second liner. I think he could make it into our top 6, potentially. I would say top 9 for sure. So I'm going to go top 9 for sure. Joshua Roy, I think he's going to put some points up for the Habs in the coming seasons. And that's why I got him listed at number 9. So let's go right into numero 8, ladies and gentlemen. That is Jake Evans. Jake Evans, folks. This guy has been... what an offensive season Jake actually had this year, right? I mean, Jake really stepped his game up offensively this season, a career high. What is he at? 13 goals or so. I don't have the number right in front of me, but he's got 12 or 13, 100%. I'm sure on that. But we saw him use his hands this year and really show he has some more offensive upside, getting better in the face-off circle, just becoming a centerman that's reliable, hugely reliable on the penalty kill. Jake Evans is. And I was kind of... tossing back and forth between Jake and my number 7 pick, who, yes, is going to be Christian Dvorak. So Christian Dvorak, I have him propped up a little higher than Jake Evans right now, even though we've seen more out of Jake, but that's also because of injuries to Christian Dvorak. So I really think that in a perfect world, Christian Dvorak is our third-line center, kind of like where we envisioned Phil Deneau would be at some point, but he ended up being our first line center. And now Phil's having a great season, mind you. I'm going to, and also stay tuned to the end because I am going to give some honorable mentions for the Marc Bergevin era for players that he brought in that aren't part of the future, but were a part of some nice moments for the Habs, and maybe even several seasons with the Habs. So, but Christian Dvorak, again, a guy that we haven't seen the full potential. There's some untapped potential there with him. Really good in the face-off circle, as we know. Offensively, not having a bad season. I think he was kind of the whipping boy at one point for a lot of people saying, I can't believe the Habs gave up a first-round pick for Christian Dvorak, but stay tuned on him. Stay tuned on Christian Dvorak. He's got a good contract, 3 years left on that with a $4.5 million cap hit. There's still more to be desired, as we know, but do not count him out early. Do not count him out. All right, here we go into number 6, Joel Edmundson. Joel Edmundson came in. This was I want to say, and I probably should have actually looked up how all the transactions came through, but no, Joel Edmundson was a trade because there was a pick involved. I do believe in Joel Edmondson's deal, but he came in and was a stalwart, a steady Eddie, no pun intended. Eddie was on the back end for the Habs, especially during the playoff run last year, and he was out most of this season. So we really desperately missed Joel Edmundson, and I think that he could remain around for a while because we're going to need a veteran presence on this Montreal blue line for some time to come. And I think that Joel Edmundson has some offensive upside at times. He kind of takes his opportunities when he gets them, but he's more known for being a shutdown, stay-at-home defenseman, a big body, a guy who can drop the gloves if you really want him to. But that's where Joel Edmundson ends up at number 6. Number 5, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Anderson. Josh Anderson, he probably could be ranked higher sometimes, but again, we have some good pieces that Marc Bergevin left behind for us, folks. Josh coming in as part of the Max Domi trade, which all really started with the Alex Galchenyuk trade for Max Domi. We'll get to that later a little bit. But Josh Anderson getting, what does he have, 19 goals this season. Career high is 28. He missed a handful of time this season. He has been at times prone to injuries, but stayed relatively healthy. Formed a really nice line with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caufield, showing that the speed, the tenacity, the forecheck that he brings, the leadership that he brings is part of the vision that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton have for the future of this team and how they want to build it. Josh Anderson seeming like he's going to be a part of that. The 7-year deal maybe was too long for some people at the time, but I don't think so anymore. That 7-year deal now going to have 5 years left with Josh Anderson, and still I think some untapped potential for Josh Anderson myself. Okay, into number 4. We're getting down the list pretty quickly. Alexander Romanov, ladies and gentlemen, Romy himself, coming in at number 4 for the Montreal Canadiens as pieces that Marc Bergevin left behind for us. And yes, of course, we can thank my buddy Dale Weise for chipping in on getting us Romy, because we know that he was part of the trade that brought him in 2016. Second round draft pick Romy was, and now we're seeing the fruits of what he can be and what he has been already just in a season and a half maybe with the Montreal Canadiens. So he's leading. I don't know that he's leading all defensemen in hits right now, but he's certainly up there for the NHL this season. And Romy's really shown us some really good stuff on the back end. He hasn't even filled out his frame entirely yet, at least by the looks of it to me. He's a battering ram back there. He's starting to chip in a little bit more offensively at times. I think there's more to be had there, but we do know that he's not afraid to lay anybody out. He's not afraid to throw the body on absolutely anyone in the NHL. There's still more to be desired, I think, from Romy, but certainly had to prop him up high at number 4. And now we go down to number 3. I am really excited about this player. We have not even seen enough of him yet, but I am so confident. I'm so confident in Caden Goulet right now at number 3 that he's going to be our next, if you will, Shea Weber on that blue line, helping to lead the way for the Montreal Canadiens' future. I really see it. I think a lot of you guys do too. Captain of the World Juniors for Team Canada just this last tournament, and it's going to continue this summer, as we know. But Caden Goulet, I mean, just the maturity that he already has, the size he has, the skill, and also the toughness. Like, I mean, just there's so much that we haven't even seen yet from Caden Goulet, and some of it we have from him playing in junior and from playing in the WHL. But I'm really, like, just your gut feeling on this kid based on the minimal time we've watched of him. My expectations are really high for Caden Goulet. Going to be leading the way on the blue line for the Montreal Canadiens. Absolutely going to be a top 4 pairing defenseman for the Habs. All right, who do we got at number 2? I don't think these ones are going to surprise you guys, but number 2, yes, the man himself, Cole Caufield. Cole Caufield, this kid I propped up for so long before he actually arrived in Montreal, and me and Dale Weise even went back and forth about it. He used to love how much of a how excited I was, let's just say that, to get Cole Caufield on board with the Habs. And now we see the fruit of it. 20 goals, 20 assists. And you know what? For this kid, the sky's the limit in terms of goal scoring. I think it's very clear that he could be a 35, 40 goal scorer. That's the vision I had for him when he was still in college. That's the kind of player I envisioned he would be in terms of the numbers, was that he would be able to put up 35, 40 goals for the Habs. And I think that's very possible, especially seeing him score 20 goals under Marty St. Louis this season and not getting more than a goal in his first 30 games. So there's a lot more to be desired. His assists, his playmaking abilities, Caufield's got a lot to his game that we don't see He's good on the back check. I think back checking he's becoming better at, as is the next guy who, big surprise, who's the number one piece that Marc Bergevin got in his time with us? Who's the number one piece that's going to last us for a long time? Well, yeah, you guessed it right. It's pretty obvious, guys. Nick Suzuki, strip away that A and give him the C because it's going to be coming. I do believe Nick Suzuki will be the next captain of the Montreal Canadiens. And how do you not make a good argument for that? It's been argued all season. I think for me personally, it's a no-brainer. He's the future of the franchise. He's the face of your rebuild potentially here. Nick Suzuki has done so many good things, shown how much of a well-rounded player he is, a 200-foot game, offensive upside, defensive upside, thinking defense first even at times before he turns the puck the other way and creates offense. And the creativity that we've seen from Nick Suzuki, again, still more potential there to be tapped, still untapped potential. And Nick Suzuki coming in as part of that Max Pacioretty trade that also saw Thomas Tatar come over. But again, I just think that we all have seen what we needed to see from Nick Suzuki, and we're going to keep seeing more. But very, very clear to me that the guy that he is, the leader that he's becoming, the way he even spoke after Guy Lafleur's ceremony, and just the honor it is to be a Montreal Canadien. Absolutely beautiful stuff from Nick Suzuki. All right, so let's go into the honorable mentions section. I think I discluded Philip Deneau and Thomas Tatar from this list, so I'm just going to put that out there because they were very serviceable players for the Habs for a very long time. But we're just going to fire through these to have some fun and honor some of the players that, yes, Marc Bergevin did bring in, whether we had them for a short time, a long time. We're going to start right here with number 94, Corey Perry. Oh my gosh, did I love having Corey Perry as part of the Montreal Canadiens, a too short-lived experience. But if we don't go to the Cup for a long time again, I have to say that Corey Perry was part of that Cup run, and it was one of the most fun signings I've ever done a video for. I did a video for that on this channel before I really kicked things up again. Tyler Toffoli, again, part of that Cup run for the Habs. Gotta love what he brought. And you know what? I'm just going to fire through everybody here. I'll just keep going on to the next one. Tyler Toffoli, just so many goals, so many memories. The little teapot pose he has here. Gonna miss this guy still, even. But Jeff Petry. Now, Jeff Petry is still part of the Montreal Canadiens. We know at the time of the recording of this video, Jeff Petry is still a Montreal Canadien. But him coming in at the 2015 trade deadline, one of Marc Bergevin's best trade acquisitions, hands down, and he barely paid anything to get him. All right, Carey Price. So we know that Carey Price came through the draft. Marc Bergevin was not part of that. But in terms of the signing the 8-year contract to try to ensure that Carey would remain a Montreal Canadiens until retirement, I'm going to give him credit for that, because if that does happen and if Carey gets a cup, I will give credit to Bergie where he deserves it. Alex Galchenyuk. And now some people call him Alex Suitcase Galchenyuk, but Bergie. We know Chucky is back with the Arizona Coyotes, but we had 6 fun seasons under Alex Galchenyuk. On the power play, we enjoyed this guy. 3rd overall pick. It didn't work out, but he eventually became part of Josh Anderson coming to the Montreal Canadiens. All right, this next one's big for me personally. Shea Weber for PK Subban. We know it's the trade we've talked about a billion times, but I love Shea Weber. You guys know I'm pretty biased, as you'll probably see from the video I just released about him. But Shea Weber, one of my favorite Montreal Canadiens to ever put on the jersey, and I'm going to miss him. I know his retirement is pending here any moment, but yeah, absolutely one of the best acquisitions for Marc Bergevin during his tenure. Now, this one's debatable. I know how you guys feel about Jonathan Drouin, at least some of you. But you know what? Jonathan Drouin, again, untapped potential. Still, I think to this day, now getting over his mental health stuff, and still going to have to work on that, I know. But another wrist surgery for Jonathan Drouin. So, you know what? There's still untapped potential for Joe. I genuinely believe that he wants to help lead the way for this Montreal Canadiens team with the rebuild, the restructuring going forward. He's got 1 year left on his deal. We'll see where that goes. Max Domi. We had a fun time with Domes for the short time that we had him. We really did. 72-point season with the Habs. He really enjoyed his time as a Montreal Canadien. He absolutely loved it. He was heartbroken, I think, to leave the team. This was from his first game as a Hab against the Leafs when Arturi Lehkonen scored the opening goal of that season. And sure enough, here it is, Max Domi, just being a big part of that for a short time. Paul Byron coming off waivers. Paul Byron's still part of this Habs team, but this was a free pickup for Paul Byron, who became also an important part of the Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup run in 2021. Thomas Vanek. How about Thomas Vanek, guys? I mean, this was the trade deadline in 2014 where Thomas Vanek came to the Habs, and it was the first time, and probably the only time since, I can't even remember, that we actually acquired a player for the playoff run that became substantial for the 2014 playoff run. Thomas Vanek did. How about Alex Radulov, though? I mean, this guy played with some fire. Did he ever? Alex Radulov. And again, didn't last very long, only one season with the Habs, but he was a blast while we had him. And you know what? Maybe it just didn't work out, and he seemed happy in Dallas, whatever. But all right, guys, last but not least, my friend, yes, he's my pal. He's my buddy now, Dale Weise, 2014, one of the best moves that Marc Bergevin ever made, because if it weren't for that, I would have never got the opportunity to work with Dale on Habs tonight. And not just because of that, but also gave us some of our best playoff memories. So there you have it. Some honorable mentions there. I mentioned Dano and Tatar as being some. Maybe Mike Weaver's in there. There's a bunch, probably Alexi Emil. I don't know. There's a bunch that I probably missed, but let me know down below. Marc Bergevin showing the love that he did for his players during the Stanley Cup run. He did his best to bring us a cup, and yes, he didn't do it, but he certainly got as close as possible. 3 games within it, Marc Bergevin did. And let me know what you guys think about the top 10. The top 10 guys that I said are, the best pieces he brought in that are most likely going to be part of the future, at least, the majority of them going to be part of the future. So let me know what you guys think about these picks. Appreciate the feedback, guys. It's been a fun one to do this. I've been working on this for a little while. So let me know your thoughts below in the comments. We'll see you then. Talk to you soon again, guys. Cheers.